Variables affecting solubility. Tools we use are measuring spoon, measuring cylinder, plastic cup, plastic rod, MSG, pepper powder, sugar, salt, baking powder, soap powder, and potato starch. Now we're going to gauge 50 mol of water. Add water into the measuring cylinder. Remember to hold the bottom of the cylinder with your hand when adding water to it. About 50 mol. The ice should be leveled with the measuring cylinder. We can see it has not reached 50 mol. Then we can add water into the cylinder with the dropper. When doing it, be careful and try not to make the water splash. We observe as the same. The position of the lowest water level in the measuring cylinder, we can see it is now at 50 mol. Let us pour this 50 mol water into a plastic cup. Then, take 1 leveled spoon of salt. Level it. After it is done, add it to the water. Then, stir it. Use your hand to hold the cup when stirring it. Try not to hit the cup when doing, so we will not hear the sound of clink all the time. Usually we should use glass-made tools. We're just worried that students will break them, so we use plastic-made tools here as substitutes. We're also using plastic transparent cups instead of glass cups. Try not to use cups with colors as substitutes. After stirring it until all the grains are gone, we will put it aside for a while. Let us pour 50 mol of water into a plastic cup. Take 1 leveled spoon of MSG. Take out the MSG. Take 1 spoon. Level it. Once it is leveled, add it to the water. After adding it to the water, use your hands to hold the plastic cup. Keep stirring it. Try not to hit the cup when stirring with the rod. For safety reasons, we use plastic-made tools as substitutes. Plastic cups we use are also transparent. It is easier for us to observe in this way. Then let it rest for a while. Let us do the sugar. Pour the water in the measuring cylinder into the plastic cup. After it is done, we will take 1 leveled spoon of sugar. Use a plastic rod to remove the redundant sugar and level it. Add it to water. Stir it. We can see that the sugar grains have been bigger than just now. Sugar is colored. Its color is similar to light yellow or light brown. Let us observe the water inside the cup. After we have stirred it for a while, we can see that its color has gotten a light yellow tint. It is a little different from the completely transparent water just now. Remember to hold the plastic cup with your hands when stirring, otherwise you may knock it over. We have to keep stirring until all the grains inside the cup have gone. Then let it rest for a while. We can see that the grains inside the cup have gradually disappeared. Just put it aside and let it rest for a while. Next, we're going to test if the potato starch will precipitate. Let us add water into the plastic cup. Once it is done, add 1 leveled spoon of potato starch. Scrape and level it. Put it into water. Use your hands to hold the cup and stir it. When stirring it, hold the cup with your hands. Let it rest for a while after you have finished stirring. Next, we're going to observe the soap. Soap powder. Let us pour 50 ml of water into a plastic cup. Once done, take 1 leveled spoon of soap powder. Scrape and level it. After it is done, put it into a plastic cup. Stir it. When stirring it, use your hands to hold the cup. This is the soap powder. Soap bubbles will form easily. Do not try to move it all over the place when stirring. Stirring it too hard will create a lot of bubbles. Try to stir in the water. Hands holding the cup. Once done, let it rest for a while on the side. Then, let us see the pepper powder. Pour 50 ml of water into a plastic cup. Take 1 leveled spoon of pepper powder. Add it to water. We can see that all of the pepper powder is floating on the water. Next, let us stir the pepper powder. When stirring, keep the cup on the table, hands holding the cup. Try to make the pepper powder get to the water. After stirring, let it rest for a while. Pour 50 ml of water into a plastic cup. Take 1 leveled spoon of baking soda. Scrape and level it. Add it to water. Stir. Hands should always be holding the cup when you stir, so it will not tip over. After stirring, let it rest for a while. After it has rested for a while, we can see that the MSG has not precipitate. Its color is transparent, so it is soluble. We can also see that the salt, its color is also transparent. There is no sediment at the bottom. Baking powder is also transparent. No sediment at the bottom, so these three are soluble. Let us look at sugar. Sugar. We can see that the color is a bit yellowish, but its bottom has no sediment. It is also transparent, so it is also soluble. Then we will see the soap powder. For the soap powder, it is kind of white inside. The color is whitish, and there are bubbles on top, but there is no sediment at the bottom, so it is also soluble. Let us see potato starch. The liquid on top is clear, but there's sediment at the bottom. Very obvious white sediment, so it is not soluble. Let us see the last one, pepper powder. For the pepper powder, its color at the top is brownish. There are obvious sediments at the bottom. There are also some particles floating at the liquid surface, so it is not soluble. We can see that these 7 easily to get powders, MSG, salt, baking soda, sugar, and soap powder, these 5 are soluble. Potato starch and pepper powder, these 2 are not soluble. The experiment on ways to speed up the rate of dissolving. Tools we prepared are measuring spoon, warm water, cold water, plastic rod, plastic cup, pestle, and mortar. Coarse salt and measuring cylinder. We will test to see if stirring can influence the rate of dissolving. First, we pour 250 ml cups of water. Make sure you hold onto measuring cylinder when you use it. Observe at eye level to see if it has reached 50 ml. If it is too much, we can suck the water out by using a dropper. Once done, it is now 50 ml. Remember, the spout has to face the cup, so the water will not spill. Then we will pour the other cup. Observe at eye level. We can see that it is a bit low. So we will use the dropper to add water. Remember, we need to look for the lowest point of the water, and not at the sides. Once done, pour it into the cup. Once the 2 cups are ready, place 1 level spoon of coarse salt onto the weighing paper. Level a spoonful of coarse salt. Once a spoonful of coarse salt has been leveled, we will add them to the water at the same time. Then, stir 1 of the cups. When stirring, remember to hold the cup with your hands. The salt water has been stirred. We can see that the particles inside have decreased. The rate of dissolving has increased. For this cup that has not been stirred, we can see that the particles of the coarse salt are still there. They could not increase the rate of dissolving. Once the warm water and cold water are ready, add a leveled spoon of fine-grained salt each. Once we have scooped a spoon, level it with the plastic rod. Place it on the weighing paper. Repeat the steps from earlier. Use 1 leveled spoon like before, level it with the plastic rod. Place it on the weighing paper. Then we're going to add the salt to the cups at the same time. Okay, add it. Stir simultaneously. After stirring for a while, we can see that the rate of dissolving in the warm water is faster than the cold water. We will grind the coarse salt into fine salt. Take 1 leveled spoon of coarse salt. Put it into the mortar. Grind the coarse salt. It'll be ready when it is like this. Pour the grounded coarse salt onto the weighing paper. Put 1 leveled spoon of coarse salt onto the weighing paper. Pour both the coarse salt and the fine salt into the water at the same time. Then, start stirring. Stir simultaneously. We can see that the rate of dissolving for fine particles will be faster than those of the coarse ones. Compare the solubility of salt and sugar. The tools we prepared are measuring cylinder, plastic cup, salt, sugar, an appropriate amount of water, measuring spoon, plastic rod, dropper. Use the measuring cylinder and measure 2 10 ml cups of water. 1 cup will be used to measure the solubility of salt. The other cup will measure the solubility of sugar. Let us do the solubility of salt first. 1 leveled spoon of salt. Add it to this 10 ml cup of water. Remember to hold it with your hands. First, we scoop 1 leveled spoon. If this leveled spoon is a bit bumpy, we would not call it a leveled spoon. Use a dry plastic rod to level it. A standard 1 leveled spoon. Then add it to water. We can see that there are white particles in the water. Then stir. When stirring, watch the salt in the cup. Hands holding the cup. We can see that the salt has dissolved completely. All that is left inside this transparent liquid. Then we're going to add a second leveled spoon. The same steps, we will repeat it again. First, scoop 1 spoon and use a dry rod to level it. Add it to the water after leveling it. Then take the plastic rod we used just now and continue stirring. Okay, after it has been stirred for a while, we can see that the salt cannot be completely dissolved. It cannot be dissolved after the second leveled spoon has been added. So, 10 ml of water can dissolve 1 leveled spoon of salt. Next, we're going to measure the solubility of sugar. The plastic rod we're going to use should not be mixed up with the one used for salt. So, likewise, add a leveled spoon of sugar. Repeat the steps from earlier. Scoop up the sugar and level it with a dry plastic rod. Scrape it to make it a leveled spoon. Once done, add it to water. Then, use the plastic rod to stir. Stir until it has completely dissolved. This is the first leveled spoon. Then add the second leveled spoon. Just the same. Scoop with the measuring spoon and level it. Okay, after it is leveled, add it to water. Repeat the earlier steps. Hand on the cup and stir with the plastic rod. Okay, let us see. The solvent looks transparent. Then add the third leveled spoon. Level it. Add it to water. Okay, take a look after it has been stirred. You can see that it still looks transparent. The particles below have been stirred. We will add the next leveled spoon. Repeat the steps. Level it. Add it to water. Stir. We can see that there are no particles inside at all. Then we will add the next leveled spoon. Hands on the cup, continue stirring. Okay, this is about it. We have found there are some particles inside that cannot be dissolved. Sugar cannot be dissolved after adding 5 leveled spoons, so 10 ml of water can dissolve 4 leveled spoons of sugar. Salt cannot be dissolved after 2 leveled spoons, so 10 ml of water can dissolve 1 leveled spoon of salt. Sugar cannot be dissolved after 5 leveled spoons, so 10 ml of water can dissolve 4 leveled spoons of sugar. In this experiment, we know that 10 ml of water can dissolve more sugar than salt.